Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. You know the websites, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com, FamilyPetAncestry.com, allthingscomedy.com/JackieCation, all in lowercase. You know, I went on a bit of a buying of domain names jag not long ago, and I don't know how to give them up, quite honestly. It might be a problem. Maybe it's a dorkdom. Who knows? You know the websites. Let's do the credits. Mike Rickberg composed and sang the theme to the Dork Forest. He sings it with his girlfriend, Sarah Cohen. He will sing again his lyrics to the Mexican Hat Dance at the end of the program. Patrick Brady's going to fix this audio. Good for me, good for you, good for us. And thank you, him. And Vilmos does my website, JackieCation.com. And on JackieCation.com, there's a couple of different things you can do. There's a donation button on Dork Forest as well, if you want to donate to the program. If you enjoy the show, please think about donating to the Dork Forest. $10 a month. I have not made that easy for you, but that's $100 a year, not including November and December, which is why don't you donate to the Dork Forest in November and December? Wait till November, and I'll tell you again. That would make you a super fan, and I would totally appreciate it. I use it to pay for live episodes and for chocolate and cashews and I don't know, all the things that you do, and more t-shirts and stuff like that. On JackieCation.com, you can order a Dork Forest t-shirt. There's 2 different designs, 3 different colors, and they're all American made by union members. That's right. So they run big. You know the joke. I am willing, and it's a sad joke too, because it's true. I'm willing to wear clothing made by toddlers. I'm unwilling to sell clothing made by toddlers. So the union made Bayside t-shirts that I sell, they're good. They're thick and they're nice. And Maria Bamford's going to start doing hers from the same print shop in Alabama. And that'll be neat because we are friends, and it is nice when friends help other friends. So other thing, you can get shirts, and then you can get CDs. My old CD, you can get my new CD and DVD, my current new CD, top 10 comedy albums of the year on vulture.com. This will make an excellent Horcrux. You can get that as a CD or a DVD. And if you get more than one, there's a deal. Other than that, stand up. This week, I am opening for Brian Regan in various cities. If you've never seen Brian Regan do stand-up comedy, it's expensive, but really worth it and really cool. And I'm just doing 20 in front of him, but I'll be in Boise and then Logan, Utah, and then Riverside, California, and then Santa Barbara. Check my website for more specific dates and where to get tickets and stuff like that, the calendar page. But let's get into it. It's a live episode in Salt Lake City, over at Wise Guys, Utah. Very fun comedy club in Salt Lake City. Thanks for listening, folks. Let's go. Hey, it's the Dork Forest live in Salt Lake City. Do we have a quorum? We do have a quorum, ladies and gentlemen. And someone has put in front of me this is for you. This is craft services. There'll be some cashews.
Wonderful.
And then
these are
doves.
nice whole cashews.
Sea salt caramels. Holy crap. This is day 11, you guys. No sugar. It's over. It's over.
Were you serious? Because you told me that back.
Oh, yeah. This is
no sugar and no caffeine for how long?
And no dairy and no grains.
Why are you doing this?
I was doing a detox. At least 2 banana heads told me, toxins aren't real.
That's true.
Toxins aren't real, you guys. And I was like, really? So 3 pots of coffee a day, you think that's good? You think that's a shrewd amount of coffee to drink? You think that's smart? I was drinking coffee at the coffee. There was no reason to drink as much coffee.
Well, I would say it's delicious, not necessarily good.
Well, too much. Just
okay.
Clearly wired anyway. Unnecessary to drink 3 pots of coffee a day. Kerry Jackson, welcome to the program.
Hi, how you doing? How are you?
Wise Guys, Utah.
This is 11 days without caffeine?
This is it.
I can't imagine.
You can't imagine what it was like 11 days ago?
I can't. There's that, too.
There's that.
I can't imagine what that would be like. That sounds like hell.
Well, it's also, it was a little hell. It was
like the first 3 days, right?
Yeah, it was pretty grim. It was screaming. Are you interviewing me? You are.
Yes.
So I like it. But here's the thing. We got to talk about these Dove sea salt caramels with dark chocolate. Oh, don't get away from me, asshat.
No, you can't.
Anyway.
That's 11
But I will
days.
tell you this, is when you have a sea salt dark chocolate, They're a dark promise, but they're as listeners of the Dork Forest will know, it's more of a pirate shanty because you gotta. If it were just a regular dark chocolate, you would have to read it in a dark, creepy voice because they always have fortunes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's it. They got fortunes in them. Okay. And so this one is, give a little love today. That's what this one is.
That sounds like a threat.
So, and then you guys can eat these when I leave. Okay, so unless he eats them all. Because I'm going to have one, like a person.
I can't even.
I'm working on moderation now.
Okay, let's.
You're going to read it aloud, and you got to use the sea shanty kind of pirate voice.
I can't quite read. Okay.
It helps to start with an R.
Arr. Satisfy your sense of surprise.
Ooh. Very nice.
And
Very
I've
nice.
got a surprise for you.
Oh my God, sugar.
In the dark ride.
That's my first sugar, and holy smokes, it's really sweet. Sugar, it turns out, is enormously sweet.
Is this?
It might be too sweet, you guys.
They're recording this, and anything that happens after this.
Yeah, I don't need to finish that. Hey, that's what a detox does for you. It ruins things.
Oh my God.
And
I need vodka then.
Yeah, you're going to need their shot and a beer, anybody. I'm having, what is this? Oh, seltzer water with lime. And you're
That's
having a little bit
exciting.
of an adult beverage?
Some vodka rocks, please.
That's it. Very nice.
Thank you.
Kerry Jackson, if you may or may not know, is a radio personality, a local dork luminary. It's what I like to do. I like to come to a town and I like to find someone in that city or town that is holding up the freak flag of the dorkdom of their choice.
And we're happy when women show up and say, "Where are the nerds?" That's
it.
That's what you want to hear.
That is it. We put out, all the time. We're just looking for someone to go, yes, I will have sex with them.
I don't know what you said or where are the nerds or I'm here.
You're right there. And you're like, I don't know. I had Jared Logan on one time and on the pod talking about Renaissance history.
Yes.
And later, afterwards, when we were not recording, he was telling me about how he auditioned for a Comedy Central program where they talked about how they got laid, how guys got laid. And he said, well, I would play video games for months and not get laid. And then I would need to get laid. And so I would go to a bar and I would find someone who looked sort of like this body type. And then she and I would have sex. And then I'd go back and I'd play video games. And he said, for some reason, Comedy Central, not interested. Not interested in airing that story. That was not compelling enough for them.
Well, thank God there's YouTube. He can throw it out there now.
Exactly. And now it's on the Dork Forest. So I'm going to do an intro later, so we don't have to. But why don't we applaud for Mike Rickberg, who sang and composed the Dork Forest song there. Patrick Brady's going to be psyched about these microphones. Look how fancy these microphones are. I got a couple of $20 Sures. So this is pretty
These are
sweet.
kind of actually intimidating.
They're pretty sweet.
A little bit. Okay.
So Kerry Jackson, it is at RFH Kerry.
That's the
is
Irish
your Twitter.
spelling. Kerry.
Kerry is your
That's the tweets.
the Twitter, and then your podcast is the Geek Show Podcast.
Yes.
Which means that you might have already some geek cred. You might already have some dork abilities. You might already have some nerd powers.
I would say that I got my geek cred when I got beat up for wearing my Star Trek uniform in grade school. That's where it began.
That had to be the 70s. Because
was.
in the 80s, everybody was like, no, it's cool, man.
Not here, boy. Not here.
Not here in Salt Lake?
No, where are you from?
I'm from Wisconsin. I mean, we don't have extra grain in the garage, but I'm just saying that, I mean, it's not like we're not ready for the big one.
No, down where I grew up in Salem, Utah, it was all farming community and everything. And yeah, so the Star Trek uniform at school was problematic at best, and the 80s weren't any better.
The 80s were not any better.
No. At a certain point, you were talking about being a nerd and getting laid. I used to have a whole bunch of watches with like cartoon characters on them.
Oh, nice.
There's an age that you hit when that stops being charming. And becomes kind of creepy.
Yes.
So they go into the drawer till about 25, 26. Then you can bring them out and it's charming again.
Irony.
There's a period there that's just...
What they don't know is that it's never ironic. You're always psyched. I'm like, Mighty Mouse, let's bring it. I will always enjoy Mighty Mouse. I will always, because he's, you know what he is? He's a hero. And
Space Ghost says it's 2:30.
What were they digital?
No, I do not. Digital, please.
Oh,
I'm an
I'm
analog
sorry.
man.
Analog.
Analog watch. So
Fair
that way
enough.
you get the whole picture. You know, you get the whole picture.
How many
on the watch.
watches like that did you have?
I have still about 30.
30 watches.
Mm-hmm.
Were they plastic?
No, they're nice.
Metal.
Mm-hmm. Some
Who
of them
made them?
Some of
Where
them
did you-
cost over $75. I know
Did
you're
you start
impressed.
buying them again when you were 26?
I did. I just started buying them again when I was 26.
I have a list
Star
of dorkdoms
Trek.
right here,
Yeah.
but this was not mentioned.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is a great one right here. You got Star Trek ones. Original Star Trek, Next Trek, which people call TNG or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I called it Next Trek because I was there on the ground floor. We just called it the Next Trek.
I'm a classic guy, and I dabble in DS9.
Oh, do you dabble in DS9, do you?
Yes.
Too stationary for me. I liked it when they got the souped up thing. I liked it when they started heading out. Though I did like the Bajorans. They were so sad. Anyway.
They were supposed to be Jews, Jackie.
I thought the Ferengi were the Jews. Everybody was
Now
the
that's
Jews.
confusing. No, I thought it was...
No, there was racism against the Jews, and then there was racism for the Jews.
I thought it was the Bajorans that were the oppressed people. The Cardassians oppressed them.
Yeah.
Now, don't laugh.
Not the Kardashians,
I
the
know
Cardassians.
you young people don't remember.
Oh, they remember.
Okay.
This group of 22 people remember. The Rangers of the Dork Forest who are listening, they definitely
Because
are.
the Cardassians
Safest
had
space ever.
They had like camps and stuff that they would put the Bajorans
Oh no,
in.
yeah.
So,
It was bad. Yeah, but but then I also heard that the Jews have also claimed the Ferengi. You don't get both, Jews. You don't get them all. Can't the Armenians be the assholes then? Can't we be the Ferengis?
I'll let you.
Because they're supposedly super frugal and cheap and good negotiators. Armenians are like that. We're all greedy and weird. Why doesn't anybody hate us enough, except for the Turks? Because nobody knows what we are. That's why.
It's easy to do a Ferengi impression. Just imagine that your teeth are 3 sizes larger than they should be.
Let me touch your ears. Let me touch your ears. Anyway,
sexy.
It is sexy. The ears are sexy. I love the one time I gave my brother for Christmas a Ferengi quote book, a book of
It was the rules of acquisition.
the rules of acquisition book.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry,
That's beautiful. No,
I am
do
on
never
the-
apologize.
on the show.
It is essentially, you told me that you are a lapsed Mormon, which has another word, and then became a Star Trek. That became your religion.
raised in the Mormon Church.
Right.
Got cancer, questioned everything, became an atheist, and realized that I learned more lessons from the Godhead of Kirkspock McCoy
Oh.
than I did the...
Patience, tolerance, and kindness.
Exactly, the
It's
original.
very beautiful.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that
that's
was-
what I began to realize was my moral compass. I didn't need that stuffy old book.
Oh, there
it's
you
all
go.
there, yeah.
And when you say stuffy old book, you mean just a couple hundred years. Anyway,
Exactly.
guess who's a jackass? Jackass. Jack Mormon. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so it'll be like that the whole show.
Jack Mormon. Do you know what a Jack Mormon is?
I don't.
That is.
Is there a stock joke coming?
No, I'm
Okay.
going to school you a little time.
Okay, let me know.
Teach you about some Mormon stuff. All right. Jack Mormon. It's the accent. Mormons.
Mormons.
I'm from the Farth Ward.
Are you from the Farth Ward?
They know. Jack Mormon is someone who is still claiming membership and still goes to church every other week.
Oh, Christmas and Easter? Every other week?
And enjoys a beer while he's hunting.
Oh, okay.
That's a Jack Mormon.
Oh, that's a Mormon who goes
He
to
has-
church but doesn't actually follow
Exactly.
the precepts.
He has coffee in the morning.
Oh, he's a Bill
you know,
Cosby. I get it. Too big a leap? Too big a leap.
Little
Possibly
far.
too soon.
Little far.
And the beer isn't really
Although you
roofing people and treating them like blow-up dolls.
You look very tired. I think you need to lie down.
Oh, hell. Oh, my God.
I'd like to help you with your career.
You know what's funny is every article that I've read about those women who talked about Bill Cosby, at least I think maybe not every one of them, but most of them were like, I would have slept with them. What the hell?
Exactly.
And you're like, well, maybe he thought it wasn't cheating if they were knocked out, or it was some sort of weird. Just
No one was
turns
watching.
out rape wasn't about sex, and he just wanted to.
Well, now I grew up.
Why bring it down?
Exactly.
Anyway.
I grew up listening to those records. You know, the Bill Cosby records.
I've never seen himself. I've seen Bill Cosby live twice.
You've seen him perform.
And he was great.
I grew up listening to all the records, and I had them memorized and everything. So when all this started, it started coming out about 10 years ago. ago, right?
Well, I think 20 years ago, but for reals, about a year and a half ago, like the names started coming like fast and furious.
I'm still so conflicted about this whole thing.
Are you conflicted?
He's a horrible rapist, but the best goddamn storyteller.
He's a really good storyteller.
I
still like Annie Hall, but he married his daughter. What are you going to do?
There you go. Well, I mean, I have friends
my father slept around on my mother, and yet I still talk to him.
Well, when you put it that way.
I mean, you think about it,
Right.
it was like you grew up with Bill Cosby. It's
Yes.
almost like he's related to you.
Yes.
And you're like, well, we all have problems. He should probably address them and maybe do some time. But he is 78. So I don't know that anyone's going to do anything
I wonder
about
if his approach is really the best, just not saying or doing anything about it, and still touring. I mean,
And still touring and dealing with hecklers as they come, I guess.
tell us about the time that you got away with rape. That's a great story.
That just happened. That just
Yeah.
happened on one of his shows, which is a weird, unfortunate. But the weirdest thing is the two times I saw him do stand up, people heckled anyway. I wanted to rape those. No, I didn't. But so I wanted to shake them.
And was this before the?
Oh, much before. I saw him for the first time probably 5 years ago, and then I saw him 3 years ago, and so none of it came out. Like I will not be purchasing another ticket. I'm so sorry.
But I could get you a comp on the list. I can get you in.
Yeah.
I'll get
See if
you,
he can
Jackie.
get me on the list.
Get you on the list.
It's and he was the shows were great, but they were it was unfortunate.
All right, you've
so I
convinced me.
think we've nailed that
I'll
into
let
the ground.
Cosby go. I'm going to let him
And
go.
but Star Trek, I love Star Trek. Did you ever watch Scott Bakula, whose name rhymes with
Dracula.
Butt Cracula?
Oh.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know it, but it does. But
Enterprise.
Enterprise. Did you ever try that? one?
I tried that for a little bit, and I was told I should have stuck around because it started to get good.
Yeah, it got over a hump. It was like the first season was a little wobbly, and then it got better.
Well, they
and it
started
just got
admitting
better.
what they were. Star Trek. They finally started doing it.
Right, they weren't trying to be anything but. I mean, in the beginning, they were trying to be, I don't know, Cylons and whatnot. It's that other thing, Battlestar Galactica. That show.
Is it on Netflix? I can catch up on Enterprise.
Enterprise, probably.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I will do that
my
for you.
password, or do you have your own?
Do you mind? If you could just write it down.
And
I am on a budget.
aren't we all? A fixed budget. And but so speaking of television, your big dorkdom was what he said was Marvel. You said
Marvel, yeah.
yeah. So do you guys enjoy the Marvel? All right. Now, do you read the comics or you're just watching the movies? Comics?
Comics?
Both? All of it. All of
of
it.
it.
That's it. Comics and movies and animation. All right. You lost me at animation. I should check it out. And so DC.
I was just going to say
DC does it better.
There are some things we can do the whole Marvel versus DC thing here.
Okay.
There are things where DC is completely ruling over
Okay.
Marvel right now, and this is from a Marvel zombie. All
Okay.
right? They've got,
I read that series.
They've got better action figures.
Okay.
They've got
Do
better,
they?
Yes.
Are they more articulated?
They're
What makes them better?
Better sculpts.
Okay.
They're just beautiful action figures. They have better animation. They have better animation stories.
Oh, the Batman series from the day, which I have watched
TV series,
most of.
and they do movies. They do these DC movies based on some of the comic book stories. Those are incredible.
Oh, are they?
Completely schooling Marvel
Okay.
when it comes to that.
Okay.
And what was the third one?
The TV
The TV
programs.
shows.
The TV programs.
DC is completely ruling Marvel on TV right now.
Just in numbers?
No, as
Oh, that
quality
guy.
and fun. Yeah.
It's
This
because
is-
Daredevil's coming out any
Daredevil's
minute here.
coming. Yeah, we're recording this by the time you hear this. Daredevil will be out,
And I will have watched it
and we
all.
will have watched it. But
Because I love Daredevil.
at this time.
Peter David.
Oh yes, at this time, DC is just completely. Now you say you don't watch the Arrow,
I do very little I do very little DC.
as do I. I don't read the comics.
You don't. And the Gotham TV show, I watched the first 3 episodes. Little dark for me.
loved it.
Turns out I like my Batman from 1968. I really do.
You love West.
I like Adam West because and this came up on a previous episode, is that my favorite thing about Batman in the original TV show was that he was the only adult in that town. He would.
Oh my God, you're right.
essentially, someone would be doing something inappropriate, and he would turn to Robin and go, "Well, that isn't okay. Let's go talk to that person." And then, pow! And then there would be some punching, and it would be super exciting. And then the Christopher Nolan ones, I was like, "Hey, sad sack, they died like 100 years ago. Your parents."
Just get some therapy and move on.
Walk it off. Yeah. My mom died when I was 7. I was allowed to grieve. Not at all. And I am not saying that was an excellent choice either. Just to let you in on that. Somewhere in the middle between having bats.
I went through a weird thing because I grew up with that Batman too, and loved him. And then as I got older, a weird thing happened. I went, he shouldn't be funny.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I explored, and now I've got this. It's come back. This whole '66 Renaissance is now huge, and I got the Blu-ray set.
Oh, did you get the Blu-ray set? Did you get the car?
The goddamn Blu-ray.
There's a Hot Wheel. There's a very exciting Hot Wheel that came with the Blu-ray set, right?
Wonderful. And I'm going back and watching it. I'm like, I get it now.
Yeah, yeah.
It is sheer brilliance, and they're making an animated film. Based Batman 66 with the original, well, the ones that are still alive, voices, West, Ward, and Julie Newmar just signed on.
All right.
To do Catwoman.
Well, that'll be exciting. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to the Joker is so terrifying.
Brilliant.
That I can't be terrified. I don't enjoy it, especially not recreationally, but I know that other people really do. They're on board. And there's so much insanity. Like all of the bad guys in DC tend to be super, genuinely insane. As opposed to Marvel, where they're just like, no, I would like a giant bag of money, please. And that is their motivation, which feels much more realistic.
Here's a question for you.
Sure.
Scarier Joker? Cesar Romero or Heath?
Or Heath, or Jack Nicholson? No, not even in the running.
No,
okay,
sorry. I know.
Did Heath blow them all away? He did for Creep Factor. He really did.
And he was my favorite. But go back and watch Cesar fucking Romero.
Yeah,
he was kind of scary every now and then.
Well, they were all spooky as all hell. They were. I didn't get. So what you like? Who are your favorite characters in DC?
In DC, Batman, of course.
Okay, and now Arrow's...
Green Arrow.
I always
loved Green Arrow because he
But they didn't commit to Green Arrow on the TV show.
That's true. He was Batman with arrows. That's why I think I got Green Arrow.
Oh, is he rich too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's Oliver Queen Industries. I learned that from the TV show. That's pretty much it. And, of course, the Batman cadre of villains were always good. I'm just now learning
more villains than good guys.
Yeah,
just because they're so specifically interesting.
It's like right now I'm learning about the Flash and that whole group of villains, which are the most batshit stupid group of villains. But again, I love the TV show. See, I'm getting into it.
I heard the Flash was really good. Yeah,
it is.
They're kind of nailing it.
And here's the thing: is that you've got Captain Cold, who's Leonard Snart is his real name, Leonard Snart, and they let them do that. Just, no problem. But Gorilla Grodd, do you know who Gorilla Grodd is?
No. Who was Gorilla Grodd? I've heard of him, but I don't know.
He is a Flash villain. Again, I'm just learning this from the TV show, so I'm going to get a lot of things wrong.
Okay.
He's a super intelligent ape with telekinesis. Now,
sweet.
When they said...
That's just good writing.
When they said we're doing a Flash TV series... I looked at the list of villains for Flash, and I went, there's no fucking way you're going to do those on television. No goddamn way that those make it on television.
And?
Fucking Gorilla Grodd is on that
show. Is he just gorilla strong, or does he have any sort of weapons?
He's gorilla. He's really smart.
And he can throw chairs at people with his mind?
He can read your mind and put thoughts in your head.
Oh,
but he's also incredibly smart, so he could build things.
Okay.
So he's really dangerous.
Oh, that is dangerous. Dr. Moreau dangerous.
Dr. Moreau dangerous.
That's right. Okay. All right. So I get it.
I'm learning about the DC stuff.
Yeah, I'm reading Gotham Academy. That is
what is that?
Gotham Academy. It is. It's teens. I like teens. I like a teen hero. I like when they set out on their own. And turns out Bruce Wayne went there to school, and it is connected by an underground tunnel to Arkham accidentally.
What it could be? Oh.
And so it turns out Croc was down there, and Olive got to meet him, and he knew all about her crazy mom. Anyway, so it is a comic book called Gotham Academy. It's like Hogwarts with Gotham kids.
Well, aren't they trying to do that on the TV show? A little bit?
Probably.
Because they got a little tiny Catwoman on there.
Right, they have They have the urchins, the beautiful urchins.
They got
The kid that plays Catwoman.
Yeah.
Jiminy Cricket, she's going to be the best looking human when she's an adult.
It's frightening, isn't it?
She's like 15 or 16 years old in real life, gentlemen. My condolences. 3 more years.
They had to have grown her in a lab or something. They created her for that.
She's
right?
like something out of a French film. That's how beautiful she is. I was looking at her on the show, going, "Holy smokes! There's no reason why I'm attracted to that."
And what is
Because
she?
I enjoy the fellas.
And what is she, all of 10?
No, she's 15, 16.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
But it's just, they have her playing younger, but you can't beat that bone structure. I mean, whatever.
But how do you feel about the Bruce Wayne kid then? Because I get the feeling he's going to grow up ugly.
I have a feeling that I want them to speed grow that kid up or give him something to do. Does he have more to do in the later episodes?
Solving mysteries or something. I don't know.
Oh, is he boy detective?
He's learning to be boy detective because he's going to grow up to be the greatest detective, I guess.
Right, but did you see Agent Carter?
Loved Agent Carter.
Yeah, because Agent Carter, Jarvis, the fact that Jarvis is alive and a person. I don't know, did you guys see Agent Carter? All right, there you go. Mm-hmm. So, awesome. And because I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. even when it was mediocre. Like as
From
it
the beginning,
stumbled, yeah, like the Enterprise time. Like it was in that stumblefuck of the first 6 episodes.
Well, then,
right?
like Enterprise, we're finally at the point in this series where it's figured out that it needs to be a superhero show.
It is nailing it. Mm-hmm. It is awesome. And I like the idea that it was regular folk though, but they're doing more
They're getting
superheroes.
powered up now.
People are getting powered up, and Ultron's coming out. I wanted a Hulk movie myself. But I don't understand why Brow Dude was not allowed. I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, he was in
it was more fun.
13 going on 30. That's the last thing I remember Mark Ruffalo being in.
So.
I think he had other work, but
you may get a Hulk movie sometday.
One day, because Edward Norton was fine, but he was the sad sack Hulk.
I liked him fine. I liked that movie fine. Getting back to this whole, I don't understand why the geeks are bitching so much.
Well, because they can. Everybody's got a pocket device that they can just bitch at.
So you just sit and bitch and make yourself unhappy all day bitching about something?
Right. So the fandom, it used to, like you used to have to write letters to bitch at people.
Exactly.
And now you could just tweet and be angry and then be over it. Unless you're lucky and it escalates. Ugh. And then you can take it on the road and you're on a book tour or something.
No, I think that the geeks these days bitch too much. I really do.
Tell me more, Grandpa Jackson.
This is where yes.
Because
I admit
we're in a golden age of conventions. Every nerd in the world has got someone that they can talk to. You're never alone out there,
exactly.
You guys. If you want to be a brony, you can be a brony. If you want there to be a girl word for brony, which is the dumbest because it was just a My Little Pony fan, you can be a unicorn fan or whatever they're called.
No,
they're Pegasus girls or something. That's Pegasisters. Thank you, Pegasisters. Those are My Little Pony girls.
Oh, I thought that was a porno.
It could be easily, very easily. Things could go somewhere.
You said conventions, and here comes Grandpa Jackson.
Yeah, let's
Grandpa
do it.
Jackson's going to school you.
And
on
Grandma
this.
Jackie Cation is on board with you. We can talk about the fandom.
You don't know how good you've got it. You
kids.
You kids.
You got podcasts.
I remember the first sci-fi convention I went to.
What was it?
It was just a general sci-fi convention in Provo, Utah, at a Holiday Inn. All right? We had
What year is this?
This is 80?
1980-ish. Okay.
Because we had the one celebrity, and it was Sheba from Battlestar Galactica.
All right.
Lockhart.
Okay.
Peggy Lockhart?
Sure.
Anyway, yeah. Gorgeous. And that was the one celebrity, right?
That was the one celebrity they could talk into coming to Provo, Utah.
Exactly.
To gather with 300 like-minded individuals.
300?
No?
Try 30.
30?
All right?
That's awesome.
There were like 30 of us, nervous, chubby, pale, sweaty boys who could not make direct eye contact with Sheba. And it was awful. It was just a terrible thing.
Oh, you didn't? Was it not fun?
I had fun because I finally met people who liked the same shit.
Right.
Which was few and far between.
Right. And so important.
Or the ones that would come out, I should say. Maybe that's it. That was it.
Right.
They kept their geek hidden in a closet somewhere.
Right. Now it's super cool to be
It's
be
fine.
dorky.
Yeah.
Now it is, and the good thing is that an actual serious, socially not gifted nerd like myself, dork like myself, if I talk about how much I love my moccasins, nobody can really get in my face about it. Because I'd be like, well, I'm sorry, did you not have a bust of Iron Man on top of your shelf? And they're like, that was $75. And I was like, so were my Uggs, you weirdo. And I mean, but the thing is because everybody, like, we're all children still, right? We're all still using our disposable income and collecting crap well into our hundreds. And but we can all defend, like, nobody can say your dorkdom isn't cool because they have a dork. Everyone has a dork. When Kathy Ladman said to me, I can't be on the show because knitting is actually cool, I had to say, no, it isn't.
Does she have a knitting podcast, and can I subscribe? Is my question.
Knitting is not cool. Knitting is popular, and people love it. And what I wanted her to do was talk about how much she loved it. And she was like, well, it's not really a dorkdom. And I was like, well, you find a dorkdom then. You got a spice rack that you're really in favor of? I don't care. It's just some sort of, the coriander, it has to be next to the cumin. And
I want to hear the Moccasin podcast as well.
Oh, the
one that you brought up. Let's see, where were we?
New joke. Come out to the show tomorrow night. See me do stand-up comedy. Got a new joke about moccasins.
Write it down.
There you go. I don't know why I've peeled that off.
Oh, okay. Grampy Jackson is coming back.
Okay,
That's
Grampy.
right.
Let's do this.
So the conventions sucked back then. There were few and far. You
went to all of them.
But you'd go to them when they arrived. And you'd take a risk. The television sucked back then.
There was trouble.
They tried.
They tried to do a bunch of science fiction stuff in the 80s that didn't go, right?
And it's beloved. If I were to say, like, Buck Rogers. Remember the Buck Rogers show?
Yeah, it sucked ass.
Sure.
It sucked ass.
You have fond memories of it. Go back and look.
Yeah, it doesn't actually hold up.
Oh, no.
And, but it's...
$6 Million Man, we all fond memories, right? It don't hold up. I'm sorry, Shannon, it does not hold up.
The thing is you could power through it and then make it hold up.
Well,
you just have to build a structure around it.
I just sit in Mystery Science Theater, that's what I...
Right. Well, what's funny is all those Mystery Science Theater 3000 guys were from Minneapolis, and so I know them all. And my least favorite thing in the world is when people talk during movies. And so I never watched it. And it is the greatest cult following in the world.
It's my favorite thing.
Oh,
it really is.
Yeah.
And did you hear Frank and
Frank Conniff?
Frank Conniff, TV's Frank.
Yep.
And Dr. Clayton Forrester, Trace Ballou.
Okay, Trace Ballou.
Just as this is put out some weeks ago, we're at an atheist convention in Memphis.
Okay.
Where they riffed on Kevin Sorbo's "God's Not Dead."
Wow, that is a spiral. That is a dork spiral.
They did it live.
They did it live. Well, I've had all of the Mystery Science Theater people that I know on the show except for Trace Ballou. I've had Joel on, Joel Hudson. I've had Frank has been on several times. I am friends with Frank, and Mary Jo Peele has been on twice. Mm-hmm. And all that's missing, Trace.
Yeah, you've had Kevin then. And the new guy, Bill Corbett.
No, I've had Elvis Weinstein.
J. Elvis, yeah.
Yeah, J. Elvis Weinstein.
You haven't had Kevin
who
Murphy,
has a name, Josh. And but I haven't had Kevin
Murphy.
on.
Kevin
Murphy? No.
Tom Servo.
No, I don't know. No, I never really met him. So I haven't collected. So I'm missing Trace and Kevin.
You should get Kevin on. He's really smart, really funny.
All right. Trace, obviously, left in the wayside. Now, you don't like Trace?
Oh, I like Trace.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he's going to be fine, too. Let's get him. Let's get him.
Sure.
But I think Trace more attainable goal. Where is Kevin? Joel was a Skype thing, which was awful.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not good with the Skype episode of The Dork Forest because it always falls out, and then
I
have to do more editing.
You can't do it.
Yeah, it's satellite delay.
Exactly.
I don't need it.
All right. Where were we? I was lecturing.
Yeah, you were lecturing.
Should I continue?
About well, and the thing is you collected things.
Yes, I collected things that I shouldn't have collected. I went and I was buying stuff that I shouldn't have bought.
Why did you think that you had to buy? Did you think that you had to buy them?
Why
were you compelled?
My therapist said I was filling a hole.
A Marvel-shaped hole?
I kept reasoning with myself when it was happening. It was like, we're finally getting good toys, good action figures. Because again, Grampy's coming. The Star Trek toys that we had when I was a kid sucked.
Okay.
All right. I wanted a communicator that looked like Captain Kirk's communicator.
Right.
All that was available was a blue walkie-talkie with a sticker on it. That's what was available.
That was what was available.
You know?
Yeah.
So I was reasoning, I'm getting good stuff now. I'm gonna start buying it.
Okay.
I completed the X-Men line of action figures. I didn't even read fucking X-Men.
That's crazy.
I didn't know who half those characters were.
So you got a Scarlet Witch and a Phoenix, and you're like, they're the same.
Exactly.
Okay.
What's a Brood? I don't know. I don't read that shit.
Oh,
you know.
Brood.
So, and I was just buying and buying and buying and buying.
Right.
And then eventually I just went, what am I doing? I don't go.
Right, because you still read comic books, but you don't.
Yeah.
Do you collect any action figures? Are you still buying any action figures?
I was buying these Marvel Universes up to just about a year ago. And,
Okay.
And I've really, in the past 6 to 8 months, I've been backing off completely.
Because you're like, why am I doing this?
I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm selling a lot of shit.
Right.
I'm being more picky about what I'm buying. It just got completely out of control.
I think that's smart because, I mean, how much room does anyone have, right, to collect a lot of nonsense?
Because the West, we have a lot of room.
Weirdly enough, I started collecting pint glasses.
Really?
Out of the blue. And, I saw a Captain America pint glass at Comic-Con, and I was like, I
gotta
want
have that.
Yeah, and so I bought that, and then all of a sudden, because I had never liked Captain America until I started, because I had never known what Captain America was, right? I just looked at the costume and went, look at that tool bag wrapped
Same
in a
thing.
flag.
Same thing.
Yeah, and then I read a Captain America, a couple of arcs of him, and he was all sort of democratic, and he was a soldier, and he followed orders, but he was super sane, and I was like, oh. He is wearing a weird outfit. And then I got over the outfit, like you do.
Hard to get past the wings.
Oh, the wings, the FTD. Yeah, that's a lot.
Thank
Mercury.
God they painted them on in the movie. Thank God.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a point where you have to stop collecting
I did the
stuff.
same thing with pint glasses because in my job I get a lot of free things. Pint glass is one of them. Had to get rid of them. It just, you start getting more and more shit and you got to stop saying yes and taking it home.
Right.
It starts to just pile up and then people get afraid of you. And think,
Well, my husband collects action figures. Right now he's actually in a Hot Wheel Jag, but he's been collecting these Micronauts, and they're small, and he likes it because you can really you can pose them really good, and they have to be super posable. He doesn't like busts. He doesn't like the sculpted busts. Some people love those. You don't?
Nope.
Okay. Because he wants to be like we have a Spider-Man and it's got magnets on it, so it will actually hang from things, and you can turn around and all of a sudden he's on a different lamp. And but the thing is do you like the ones that can be posed? Like, do you play with them? Or did you play with them?
That's the other thing, is that you should open your toys. A lot of geeks don't. Have you noticed that? A lot of geeks don't
that's
open
not
their
as
toys.
common as you think.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's been caricatured in things like the Big Bang Theory, where those are the most primary colored, decked out dorks in the world, man.
Because I know a lot of guys who will go and say, I have to have two. One I can open, one that stays in the box.
Okay, so you know several people, so this is not anecdotal.
It still happens. And I lecture everyone, open your goddamn toys.
I have two friends who collect swords, and they hang them and they play with them, and they want to carry them like a conceal and carry kind of situation.
These like real metal, sharp, dangerous.
Yeah, well, if they were sharpened, some of them were props and some of them were. What we have in our houses, we have old Xena the Warrior Princess props because there was a big prop sale, and so Andy went to the prop sale and bought a bunch of swords and scabbards and spears that the extras would carry.
See, I bought a Conan sword for my attorney.
Oh, Conan the Barbarian, really? For your attorney?
He did a great job on my contract, and I figured I had to get him something. So I went into the catalog and I'm looking. I'm like, Conan sword. He loves Conan. Sure, get him a Conan sword.
Who doesn't love Conan?
I thought
the
it was
porn of comic books.
Exactly. I thought it was just going to be a prop.
Okay.
It was a real goddamn sword.
It's a full-on. The first thing, one of the first gifts Andy Ashcraft ever gave me was a Sting. Sting, the sword from Lord of the Rings. And it's heavy. The blade is plastic, but it lights up and it makes like it makes noises when you hit things. But the hilt is full on metal. Yeah. Like you could hilt smash somebody. And
this thing was amazing. We opened it up in his office, and you open it up and you immediately smell the oil because it's been polished. Exactly.
Crumb.
And, forged, and it was sharp, and I'm like...
And it was sharp.
I'm like, Ed, you can't have this in your office here, because one of your clients...
Is going to lose their mind.
Exactly, and just...
Wow.
But I was shocked that they are actually selling swords to people.
Well, one of my friends who collects swords has a glam drill. Glam drill? Is that right? Lord of the Rings? Anything?
Take your word for it.
Glamdring.
Glamdring.
Glamdring. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's time to read the books again.
No.
All right.
No.
Time to make the donuts. And I can. I read the books every year.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
I couldn't get through them.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well,
Read The Hobbit, but I couldn't get through.
I read them all when I was 19, and my brother was like, "Read these, and then you're staying with me. It's part of your rent." and so I did, and then I read them and he was like, "If you have to, skip the songs initially, but you got to go back and read the songs because the songs are life changing. You got to read the Silmarillion."
Oh God.
I ended up taking a class at college. It was a C.S. Lewis, Tolkien, and Charles Williams class. So it was good.
Bring me into this.
Okay.
Help me understand.
Well,
because it was just.
I wish it were colder in here,
Exactly.
right? You guys? Why? Why is there freezing?
This is David Letterman temperature.
It is David Letterman.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody to get bored with the Lord of the Rings talk.
That's right. She's going to explain it to me.
Focus. All right. So
Stay awake for this.
No, the Lord of the Rings, of course, is J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yes.
And he was a philologist and a guy who studied languages in Germany for many years and
Created
and then,
the Elvish thing and
taught at Oxford, was in World War I, and wrote these books all from World War I up to like the 30s and 40s, and then he wrote The Hobbit and published The Hobbit in the late 30s, I believe it was, and then wrote the Lord of the Rings. They were reluctant to publish it. They published it, and then he had to go back and change The Hobbit so that the Ring made more sense in The Hobbit. And then that was re-released in the early 50s, and then it blew up when all the Beats loved it, man. The Beats.
they
Beat
were
poets.
into it.
They
Dude.
were- yeah.
Led
Kerouac.
Zeppelin loved it.
Sure.
So
were
what
not
is
Beats.
it that I am missing in the Lord of the Rings book? Is it my lack of patience or not knowing words that has stopped me?
It could be both.
What's
be
that?
both.
Vocabulary? That's a word? Okay.
Many syllables.
Yeah.
What I do recommend is the skimming of books to get the gist, and then the rereading of books.
Well, that's what the movies are for. That's
No, they are not.
No, they are
especially
not?
when they get them wrong. Wrong.
What?
And sadly, Faramir. I fell in love with Faramir. Kerry. Jackson, you don't understand. Faramir
which
was
one
a
is he?
hero.
Which one is he?
Faramir was a guy that was willing to leave the One Ring on the road. He finds Frodo unprotected in the wilderness, and so he says, if I found that ring on the road, I wouldn't take it because it's so full of evil. And then he finds out that Frodo has the ring, so he could wrest it from him and then become a Dark Lord like, Sauron, but his dad. Who was his dad? Denethor. Oh. Thank you.
Wow.
Well played. And nerds from the guy who clapped so hard for Flash. That's it. Nerd on nerd crime, you guys. Safe space.
I'll try to invoke the Dukes of Hazzard later, Shad, and we'll see if we can bring that in.
But anyway, I mean, the thing is that it's an exciting story of daring do, and the little guy being the heroes, because that was the problem with the movies for me, is that the hobbits were not the heroes. They made Aragorn the hero, and you're like, well, Aragorn's always going to be the hero. He's a tall, good-looking guy on a horse.
Now, see, having not read the books and only seen the movies, I got that he was one of the heroes, but I always saw
Frodo was the real hero, and Samwise was actually the real hero.
Saw him as more of a hero, Samwise.
Yes.
Kerry,
but there was a
Mr.
lot of glaring
Frodo.
into the there was a lot of sobbing and just looming into the.
So how do you feel about the ending, and then the ending, and then the ending?
And then not the ending.
And then
no
not the
scouring
ending.
of the Shire? Don't even. This is not really the way we
There
want
was a
this
scouring?
show. There was a scouring of the Shire. I don't know if you know this, but Saruman got to the Shire before they did.
Scouring with Flame or Mr. Clean? How did they?
You know those sponges
Tide?
that have green on one side and yellow on the other? It was that.
Those?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, I hope they didn't use the green side.
They did use the green side on the party tree.
That's just unnecessary and mean.
It just isn't okay.
Poor little people.
Yeah, except for that they aren't poor little people. They stood up for themselves like little people have always had to do.
And that's pretty good for a bunch of stoners. I really think that's cool because they eat a lot.
Pipeweed was not. It's like the peace pipe of the Native American. You put pot into the peace pipe, a Native American will punch you in the face. So
pipeweed is pot, right?
Pipeweed is not pot.
What?
Pipeweed is pipeweed. Pipeweed is tobacco.
Well, now you're taking all the fun out of the Lord of the Rings.
Well, blaze up, Wastoid.
All right.
It's not for me to judge.
Okay.
And so yeah, I mean, the thing is you were talking about how as you look back on fandom, and as you look back, and you're like, people seem very grumpy now about what they love, and they're judging what you love.
Oh,
exactly. Is that what it is?
Well, they will complain about some of the silliest shit, and they don't realize you've got a Flash TV series. Why are you complaining? Why are you complaining that his costume's wrong?
Right. You know? The minutia. It's
the minutia that they're getting hung up on, and I can't watch that. Well, why? They got the costume
wrong. It's because people love things so much. Like, remember Gamergate? Tell me it's over. Anyway, so Gamergate was a couple of guys got mad at some woman who pointed out that a lot of women in video games were actually just sex objects, and it wasn't super fun for them to play. So this was the gist of it, right? Mm-hmm. And so some guys were like, yeah, but I love that game. Why would you insult the greatest game that I spent my formative years not learning any social skills?
And we're like, honey, we don't want to take it away from you.
Nobody does want it. Nobody cares. You get to love it forever and ever. What we're saying is the next one, you might want to include a woman who doesn't go into battle in a bikini. Why is she carrying her spear behind her like a stripper pole?
It doesn't seem practical.
Why is that a thing on my little action figure for D&D? Why is that a thing? Why? And I actually, some guy just posted, he's like, what do you think of my sculpts? And I was like, they're very beautiful. But she doesn't look workable. Like, that looks like that's something you fuck. That's not anything that she's not a battle person. Is she a battle person? Which is not a real word.
It's battle when she fucks me.
Yeah. There's always a fight. Right. And he said, no, we're going to make hunky guy sculpts too. And I said, is the spear going to be coming out from between his legs? Because that's the only way that really matches. No? Okay. I'll take my answer off the air. Is what I said on that Facebook page.
Well, there's a good. You reminded me of a good example. Ghostbusters. Oh, right. Somebody's mad because they're going to be women Ghostbusters. Because there's going to be women Ghostbusters.
But it's Melissa what's her face?
Well, yeah, but you've got
from Gilmore Girls.
You've got four really funny people. Mm-hmm. And you're getting a new Ghostbusters. How about that?
I thought you loved Ghostbusters. More ghosts will happen.
You're ruining my childhood. You killed my childhood. No, those movies still exist.
Right. Nobody's burning them all.
Enjoy them. They're still there.
Right. It's on Netflix, Ghostbusters. By the way, holds up like a trooper. Yeah, it really does. And but I would watch. What's Melissa's last name? McCarthy. Yeah. I would watch Melissa McCarthy in anything. Did you guys see The Heat? I laughed and I cried. I laughed so hard. She was climbing over fences. She was pulling people through windows.
Sandra Bullock was good in that.
Sandra Bullock was panting, trying to keep up with. They were amazing together.
Exactly.
It was the greatest buddy movie since Midnight Run.
I regret that I waited 8 months to see that.
Oh my God, I own it. I have seen it 3 times in the theater and twice on DVD.
No, this new Ghostbusters is going to be great. It's going to
be good.
It's going to be. Don't worry about it. Your childhood is fine.
They'll make weird sex with a ghost jokes as well. It'll all work out for you. You can still fuck a ghost. I'm not here to tell you not to sleep with a ghost, gentlemen. That's not what I'm here for.
Here she is, coming from out of town, telling us
we can't sleep with our ghosts.
Have sex with ghosts.
Immigrants. But the food is good. Who doesn't love the immigrants because of the food? I do.
They certainly helped.
Yeah. They certainly did.
They certainly helped.
Have you been to England since the Indians have shown up from India? Yeah, the food's a lot better. Okay, what about the death of radio? That's the other grandpa thing that you wanted to talk about.
Oh, I brought it up. It's because you said come with some topics. And I went,
yeah.
Okay. Do you know how many times I've been doing radio since '82?
Okay.
Do you know how many times radio has been declared dead?
How many? Like, what do they say?
Well, let's start with cassettes.
Oh, okay.
Cassettes were going to kill radio.
Okay.
Yeah. Then DVDs were going to kill radio.
DVD. VHS?
Then
No.
then the iPod was going to kill radio.
Oh, right.
And as
Napster
the
did kill radio, didn't it? Isn't it dead now?
No.
You don't have a job, do you?
I'm still doing okay.
It's doing okay. You're still paying your mortgage? It's all working out?
And now it's podcasts are going to kill radio.
Podcasts are going to kill radio.
That's what they keep telling me.
Not with this listenership. No, I have a perfectly good listenership. Rangers of the Dork Forest are the nicest people ever.
Oh, it's true.
And people do listen to podcasts, but there's so much. There's a guy building a garage behind our neighbor is building a tiny garage for his motorcycle. Whatever. He's hired one man to do it. Mm-hmm. And that man has been there for a month, and every day he listens to talk radio, right-wing talk radio at the Cranked. So it's Rush Limbaugh. Sad and angry and disappointed and wrong and literally out of his tiny lizard mind.
Exactly.
Because he cannot form complete sentences, and you're like, who told you that? And I mean, there's several things I want to ask some people, and it's
the Vicodin told me that.
The Vicodin, exactly. The women I sleep with, not while married to, they talk to me. The drugs that I do talk to me, and I also want to ask a lot of people recently. This is how I can tell Gramication is alive and well. I literally want to go up to people and say, "Who raised you?" Do you have no sense of right and wrong?
It's frightening. I often don't like meeting people just because of that.
But I meet so many wonderful people in their 20s and 30s.
And then they'll say something just completely crazy.
No. Then I'll meet other people that are terrible. I mean, literally, it is only 2 or 3% of the people that I meet. And because immediately upon meeting those people, I turn around and go, well, we're done then. And, cause I don't sustain it. I'm not trying to affect change one person at a time. I'm not going to change the mind of Ari Shafir. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to make Ari Shafir into a nice man.
I'd like you to try.
All right. And please Google Ari Shafir.
Yeah.
All right. This will be a month later when it'll probably either be died down or he'd been given a flagship show on Comedy Central. So one of those two things will have happened to that man's career. But yeah, there's nothing can really kill entertainment.
Exactly. It's been declared dead I don't know how many times, as long as you can buy a car that has a radio in it.
Because radio's free, right?
It's free. And
people love, I have rabbit ears. I don't have cable.
Really?
Yeah, I have Netflix and my sister, my own Netflix, you guys, my own Netflix. And then I have my sister's Hulu Plus and my brother's HBO Go, and I even have my other brother's Audible account.
Can we recommend the Ari Shafir show to you? We think you'd like it.
Nope.
No, it's been declared dead I don't know how many times, and it's going to continue. And I was doing radio, and I started doing a podcast because I was able to do things on that podcast that I couldn't do on the radio, and they're existing in a wonderful.
Wait, they coexist in a. It isn't like matter and antimatter. No, you haven't killed yourself by having a podcast.
It's true,
addition?
And it's owned by the radio station.
What? You record it in the radio station?
No, I do it in my basement.
You do it in your own basement?
I prefer it that way.
In your own home?
Mm-hmm.
In the dank.
In the dank.
All right.
In my as this is broadcast, my new studio. Yay!
Oh, very nice. Oh, congratulations! And Geek Show Podcast, by the way, everybody, geekshowpodcast.com. That's it. We're talking with Kerry Jackson, of course, at RFH Kerry Kerry on the Twitter, and it's been an hour, so it goes almost immediately. Mostly when I won't shut up.
What would you like to do now?
Well, we could do some stand-up comedy for these nice people. They will enjoy that.
I think they'd like that.
I think so.
And I'm partial to one of the comedians that's going to perform.
Well, here's what I want. Is I want you to. I usually ask this last question, which is, are you reading anything good that you might tell the peoples about?
I'm reading Marvel Comics.
Oh, you read? Well, what titles are you reading?
I'm reading all of them because at the time of this recording, we're getting to this convergence thing. Well, it's not called.
Oh, do you do the crossovers?
Yeah, that's DC's convergence. It's the Secret Wars. Battle World they're doing. They're going to eliminate a lot of their stories and
Yeah,
reset.
whatever. Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right.
I'm just, but are you reading the X-Men, which is all women team? Are you reading that one?
I'm not reading it. Let me make a book recommendation.
Okay.
All right. It's an older book.
Okay. You're like, we can't actually go into titles of comic books. Fair enough. Okay. What's a book? A little prose? Nonfiction? Fiction?
It is fiction.
Excellent.
It is called Sock.
S-O-C-K?
S-O-C-K. And
As in a sock?
And it's written by Penn Jillette.
Penn Jillette?
Penn wrote a fiction story about 10 years ago. And it's the story of a young man who grows up and becomes a police detective. What are the scuba guys that look for bodies?
Oh, all right.
But the story is told from the point of view of a sock monkey.
That sounds like Penn Jillette.
The sock monkey is observing the kid grow up and become
And does he
a
at
man.
any time say, and if you believe in God, you believe in a sock monkey? Because he's a bit of a strident atheist.
But it's terrific. It's terrific. And
It
then
is
I go
terrific.
back and
it's funny and smart because he's
funny
very
and smart.
funny and smart.
It's really good. And then once a year I go back.
Is he the
and,
tall magician or the short?
He's the tall one.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just so everyone knows, it's an audio podcast.
It is. And then once a year I go back and read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
I have never been able to make it through that.
Really?
Yes.
It's so much easier to follow than Lord of the Rings.
I think not, my friend.
There's just a fast car and a guy doing a lot of drugs.
Yeah, I think it was. I had just read On the Road, and then everyone said I should read Fear and Loathing and Wallace. Not George Wallace, David Foster. And so George Wallace, very funny comedian.
Yes,
So
in Las Vegas
In
right
Las
now.
Vegas, very older black gentleman, very humorous. Anyway, David Foster Wallace killed himself. Anyway, sensitive, Jackie. Anyway, so
Too soon?
Possibly, especially for poor Josh Gondelman, that was his dorkdom, was David Foster Wallace, who I called George Wallace at least twice during the show. That's why you want to listen to the Dork Forest, you guys, to hear what I don't know. It's almost a drinking game. Knock yourselves out. I couldn't read any of them. I had done the On the Road thing, so I was like, oh, I get it. And it was too bad. It was like, it had been hacked. You know, like when you listen to something, when you watch something, like I saw The Godfather, and I was like, I finally got all the old jokes, but I was like, oh, I saw it coming too, because I had never seen The Godfather. And then I didn't see The Godfather 2, because at the end of The Godfather, when you watch the end of The Godfather, I'm like, oh, this isn't going to end well. These are not nice people.
Oh, I don't know. Michael got
The door closes. He's lied to her. I don't know if you know that. You remember that scene?
But he got that great job.
He did get that great job that wasn't real.
Oh,
anyway, so there was
sorry.
lies. They were living a lie. That marriage was going to be on the rocks, you guys.
I don't know. I thought it was a positive.
I don't know what happens, but
I thought
my
it was
brothers
a
love that
positive
movie.
philosophy-building kind of message there.
Sure, in a Machiavellian kind of way.
Everything I learned about business, I learned from The Godfather.
I was raised by a mixture of a Corleone and Groucho Marx. So.
Say the secret word and survive to the end of the movie.
I'd rather watch Groucho Marx again. It makes me like my dad more. So, hey, you guys, thank you so much for supporting Alive Dork Forest. This has been super fun. My guest, Kerry Jackson.
Thank you.
We're at Wise Guys in Utah. Support live comedy. Have a good one. Help me move this.
All right. This way?
No, the other. Kerry Jackson, you guys. Hey, Spencer, you could press not record. Stop. It's just fading. All of my words are fading. They're just gone.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?